This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Season's greetings to you and welcome to a very special edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. Why so special, you ask? Well, if you watch us on a regular basis, then you already know that once a year we do the show from the Georgia Farm Bureau's annual meeting here on Jekyll Island. So glad you decided to tune in. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. That's right, Ray. This marks the 78th edition of the meeting. Its purpose to honor those counties and volunteers who have made all the Farm Bureau programs and legislative efforts so special in 2015. Now, coming up on today's special program, what exactly happens during this three-day meeting and some of the major changes that greeted members when they arrived here on Jekyll Island this year.
Also on the program, from our nation's capital, an American Farm Bureau specialist separates the facts from fiction when it comes to EPA and the controversial Waters of the U.S. rule.
And then later, her unique approach to teaching and the connection she has with her students has earned Lauren Goebel the Georgia Excellence in Teaching Agricultural Award. Coming up, how she uses cooking to inspire her students to learn. These stories and more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor. Well, each year, over 1,700 members representing Farm Bureau chapters in all 159 counties converge here on the island to hear leading experts and speakers discuss agricultural issues that concern us all. But as you're about to see, this meeting isn't all about business. When delegates and members from around the state aren't listening to GFB leaders or elected officials, they like to have some downtime. So, when these chairs in the convention hall are empty, the over 1,700 attendees find time for food and other treats.
That are trying to make it an effort to come to these things, these annual meetings. We come to the summer conference also, try to keep a voice out for agriculture as much as we could, as much as we can, especially to anyone that we come in contact that could come up behind us and take our places. Is basically what we're looking to fill those shoes as the young farmers, I guess.
So it's not all business and all. So it's a fun time just to talk and do those kind of things. We go to the shops and look around and do some shopping while we're here. Try to get some Christmas shopping done since we're here without our kids.
And after a number of years of watching construction around the Jekyll Island Convention Center, there has been great anticipation for retail shops, restaurants, and the completion of the new Westin Hotel. Executive Director of the Jekyll Island Authority, Jones Hooks, said the Georgia Farm Bureau's support has been pivotal in moving forward with development on the island.
We've seen about $195 million worth of investment on Jekyll Island, public and private, over the past 7 years. And we are so pleased that Georgia Farm Bureau has stuck with us throughout that entire time.
Hook said by December 2016, the Jekyll Island Club Suites next to the Westin Hotel should be completed.
Not only additional lodging facilities on the island, Marriott is a flag that has already been announced. So we anticipate a Marriott product on the island. And we anticipate 2 additional lodging facilities, we don't know exactly what those may be yet, but those plans will be coming together soon after the first of the year.
The 78th annual meeting may be in the books, but it'll be best remembered for food, fun, and fellowship.
I think it's just coming down and kind of, like you said, bonding with our Henry County folks and just seeing the people that we don't see throughout the year that we know from other counties that we may see during the summer conference, and just kind of reconnecting with people that we don't see very often.
To have a position in Farm Bureau where they're also a Christian-based organization and show that through everything that they do is pretty huge to us.
Now, meantime, in what may have been his final address to members as Georgia Farm Bureau president, Zippy Duvall spoke of the many challenges GFB faced this past year. Of course, Mr. Duvall announcing his candidacy for American Farm Bureau president, which will be decided next month. Now, in spite of those challenges, President Duvall, accompanied by his wife Bonnie, said he couldn't be more proud of the organization and how it responded, the way it stepped up, embraced change, and continued to tell the story of American farmers.
This organization is important because this is where we unite together as one voice. And Patrick Henry said in his last public address in 1799, "United we stand and divided we will fall." We, the farmer, we have to run with endurance because our families are dependent on it. Our communities are dependent on it. The future farmers in this state are dependent on us. Our country and our world are dependent on us to run with endurance.
A very emotional time on stage indeed. Well, meantime, another hot topic these days, EPA and the controversial Waters of the U.S. rule. One of the guest speakers at this year's convention was American Farm Bureau Senior Director of Regulatory Affairs, Don Parrish, who commended GFB members on their efforts to fight back against EPA. According to Parrish, while the legality of WOTUS continues to be tied up in the court systems, it's important for farmers to stay actively involved and, more importantly, educated on these issues.
What we want to do, and again, it is the law of the land, and unless we keep the injunctions that the court have put into place, and we hope that we do, farmers are going to have to comply. And we want farmers to be able to comply with the rule. So it's going to be important, even though we're going to continue to fight it and continue to try to roll it back, because this is more than just protecting water. It's about implementing rules that influence and dictate land use. We're going to fight that, but we've got to get farmers to comply with the law too.
Another guest speaker at this year's convention, former U.S. Senator Saxby Chambliss, who had a very interesting message for the members in attendance. Chambliss urging farmers and producers that they too can play a major part in the war against terrorism.
These individuals who seek to do us harm are going to look for the soft spots. And the soft spots are places oftentimes where just ordinary average citizens are engaged and are present. So I urge you to be ever more vigilant than you've ever been as you progress in your farming operations and educate your children about what they need to be looking for, because seriously, people, this is the gravest time in the history of the United States, in my opinion. This is going to be a long and enduring war, and agriculture is going to play a key role from this food security standpoint.
All right, still to come on the program, a complete recap of this year's award winners, including Georgia Farm Bureau's Secretary of the Year.
Also, an in-depth look at this year's recipient for the Georgia Excellence in Teaching Ag Award. She's Lauren Goebel of Wells Elementary, right outside of Macon. The unique ways in which she connects with her students. That's next, when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues from Jekyll Island. Surfs up here at Jekyll Island, site of the 78th Annual Georgia Farm Bureau Annual Convention. And we welcome you back to the Georgia Farm Monitor. Every year here at Jekyll, a luncheon is held to celebrate and recognize Georgia Farm Bureau county presidents, office managers, and secretaries for all the hard work they do on a daily basis. This year, Gene Dykes from Henry County named the 2015 Outstanding Office Manager of the Year.
Honestly, I cannot believe that this has happened to me. I feel undeserved because honestly it is our board and all of our volunteers that do so much, and I just write down what they do. I just capture their story, and so they really deserve all of the kudos.
Meantime, a new addition to this year's convention was the inaugural GFB Foundation for Agriculture Breakfast. That was a chance for organizers to get together with their core audience and talk about some of the exciting things they're doing with ag literacy. According to Executive Director Jed Evans, the foundation is off to an incredible start. He says in just the 9 months of existence, the foundation has already generated over $173,000 in individual donations.
To me, that shows folks see the need for extended ag literacy across Georgia. To see that kind of excitement generated not only by county farm bureaus and Georgia Farm Bureau members of the Georgia Farm Bureau family, but individuals and outside agribusinesses, means that it's something that has a lot of promise, a lot of potential.
Another highlight of the convention, the Celebrating Agricultural Literacy Program. Sponsored by the GFB Women's Leadership Committee, during the program, all former state Women's Committee members were recognized along with current committee members. In an emotional farewell, outgoing Women's Chair Janet Gruhl thanked Farm Bureau members for their love and support over the past year. She also introduced the incoming chairwoman, Melanie Sanders of Oglethorpe County. All of us here at the Georgia Farm Monitor wish Melanie the best of luck in the year to come. Now, each year at this time, the Georgia Farm Bureau also recognizes the teacher who takes it upon themselves to go the extra mile by incorporating agriculture into their daily and weekly lesson plans. For this reason, we have set up the annual Georgia Excellence in Teaching Ag Educator Award. As expected, all the candidates were unique and demonstrated a dedication to education and ag literacy. But in the end, the judges chose Lauren Goebel, a first grade teacher at Wells Elementary in Macon. Prior to her accepting the award, I sat down with Lauren to get a better understanding of where her love for agriculture comes from.
I grew up in the country. My papa had a farm, and I just grew up around cows and chickens and wanting to go help feed. And I remember him getting the hay bales and the big round ones, and my cousins and I would go run and jump over them and slide between them, and all of that was just so much fun. And when I think of ag, I have very good memories. I have very fun memories, and I want that to be part of my kiddos. I want them to have fun memories of the things that we did, planting in the garden and watching something grow and hatching the chicks, and we've hatched ducks, and they get to see the egg and they get to see the little hole starting, and then when they come to school the next day, the chick is out and they get to watch them grow, and I bring eggs from home with our cooking, and so they get to see the full circle and just how exciting it can be.
I think one of the strongest things she does for her kids is she builds that sense of belonging and caring, and anytime a child knows that you care for him, then he opens himself to learn in your room. If a child doesn't believe that you care for him, then it's difficult to teach a child.
A lot of my students come from single-family homes, and a lot of my students get free and reduced lunch. And these parents are just trying to do the best they can, which often means a fast food meal, or it's something you get out of the freezer section and you just put it in the microwave. And there's not that conversation of, we're going to cook dinner tonight and these are the ingredients that I need and we're going to have a healthy meal and this is why. So I just think it's important for me to talk to them about the fruits and the vegetables and the food groups and how you can make decisions to eat healthy, so when they get older, they can make those decisions for themselves.
She finds a way, and quite frankly, I'm amazed at how she does this. She finds a way to weave agriculture into her lessons by meeting the state standards for whichever grade level she's worked with. When she worked with pre-K, she met the standards for that. As she's working with first grade now, she meets the standards that are required by the state of Georgia for a first grade class, but she weaves that agriculture into it and she integrates those lessons across the curriculum and does, quite frankly, a fabulous job with that. She's exposing kids to things that they haven't known before and showing them how they connect and making her lessons relevant to real life.
To hear them using that language and putting it on paper, doing their recipe pages, and they're putting details in the irrigation system. It's raining, so we don't need to put the irrigation system in. I'm gonna draw a girl farmer because girls can be farmers too. And I'm gonna put on overalls so my clothes don't get dirty. I drew a tall tree, oh, I put a weed in here, but I'm the farmer gonna pick it because weeds take away water from the plants. And all these things that they're seeing and they're hearing since school started, and those pieces are coming together and they're making those connections. It blows my mind. With cooking and preparing things, it makes you closer to each other. And I just want them to remember the fun times and just the cool things we got to do.
Wow, she is incredible, isn't she? Definitely worthy of this award this year. Now, when we come back on this special program, we'll talk commodities and show you some of the state award winners. All this and more when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues from Jekyll Island.
Air Evac 1, you are clear for landing on Jekyll Island, site of the Georgia Farm Bureau's annual meeting and conference. No doubt, one of the coolest moments of this year's meeting. People really seem to enjoy it, especially the youngsters in attendance. Moving on now, let's turn our attention to the business side of things.
All right, Ray, during the commodity sessions, guest speakers bring each of the groups up to date on the latest news, technology, and research. One area that drew a lot of attention this year, cotton. Damon Jones explains.
Georgia is one of the most diverse agricultural states in the country, and that was on full display here at the state convention as more than 20 different commodities held their annual conference. And unfortunately, not all the news was good, as wet weather had a major impact on the cotton crop.
Some of the early crop that came off in September, early October was looking good. Most of the genders told us that quality was still pretty good. But this rain that we've had just over and over has just been bad, really bad for the farmers.
That plus the low prices have left plenty of uncertainty for cotton growers heading into the new year. However, the acreage should remain relatively unchanged.
It's kind of up in the air right now what we're going to look like. The price situation still not looking very good, but really it's not looking good for any other crop either. So we still probably going to stay loyal to cotton, plant probably close to the same amount of acres as we've traditionally planted.
That means paying attention to new research is more important than ever for farmers to maximize their profits in 2016.
A lot of that data is going to really help growers in 2016 determine either what variety they want to plant, what different fertilizer practices they're going to use, any kind of new insecticides that may be on the market. All that data is really going to help pin down, your bottom line on the crop and what you need to put into the crop in order to actually make a profit going for 2016.
And cotton was not the only crop affected by Mother Nature, as the peanut harvest has also been pushed back due to wet conditions.
It rained, some big rains, put us behind. We had a lot of days that wasn't the best gathering conditions, but we're nearing getting this crop in. It's been a long growing season. I think everybody wants to put it behind us, but all in all, we still make good yields.
And that's good news, with the domestic demand for peanuts continually climbing. But despite the growing numbers, it's also important for producers to look at different markets as well.
Demand is probably at an all-time high. The last I looked, we're up nearly 5% in consumption this year. The problem is we're a kind of a mature market. There's 95% of the people have peanut butter in their households. So even if you increase, you're not increasing that much. So we're really looking at exports of our peanuts.
Reporting from the state convention in Jekyll Island, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Damon, thanks so much. Meantime, the annual GFB Quality Hay Contest is available to any Farm Bureau member who produces Bermuda grass hay on their farm. The purpose of this contest to encourage and promote quality hay production. This year's state winner, Paul Kelly of Jasper County, with an RFQ of 142.3.
Of course, Georgia hay producers are always looking for a high relative forage quality number for their hay. At a lab in Athens, Georgia, UGA Extension puts a lot of resources into testing forages to improve livestock health and to improve the farmer's profitability. Mark Wildman has the story.
This building in Athens may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of farming, but the work done here adds tremendous value to Georgia farmers and to Georgia's overall economy. Here at UGA Extension's Feed and Environmental Water Lab, staff test hay and other forages for quality and nutrients.
This is quite a distance from the farm, but what we're doing here in the lab has real implications on the farm. The difference between profitability in many cases for a lot of our producers hinges on whether or not they're going to have a good base for their forage. And so what we're doing here is very critical to many producers.
Hay samples that are brought to the lab go through a highly scientific analysis. The forage is dried, ground up into a fine powder, placed in small dishes, then eventually loaded into a computer to find out the quality of the hay.
Well, one of the key things that we're looking at is the amount of digestible energy that's in that. That's usually the biggest limiting factor in all of our rations. It's going to be digestible energy. And for ruminants, what we're typically looking at is the amount of fiber digestibility. How much of that fiber that's in that crop is actually able to be broken down and made into energy for the animal.
The staff at this lab work very hard for Georgia producers, and the equipment that is used is an asset to Georgia agriculture.
These machines are very critical for us here at UGA because they're very sophisticated, they're very expensive, $70,000, $80,000 per machine, but that kind of information can translate to many thousands of dollars for our producers and the ag economy, in savings and improved health of our livestock as well.
Having an adequate supply of hay is very important for livestock producers, but having high quality hay can help the farmers' profitability.
If we have really good forage quality to start with, when we need to balance a ration for their nutritional needs, we won't have to add as much supplemental feed, which won't be as expensive that way. So if we have good quality to begin with, it just makes the ration cheaper in the long run.
Every sample that goes through this lab gets the same high level of testing. So whether your farm is competing for a hay contest or you are trying to maximize relative forage quality on your farm, you can be sure the results from this lab are accurate.
This number has a lot of implication because there may be some costly investment, there may be some underfeeding, there may be some nutritional deficiency if these numbers goes wrong. Therefore, we are very serious about this business. We want to be confident because our mission is to serve the industry better, industry more productive, more profitable.
Reporting from Athens, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Last but not least, the GFB Awards presentation. It's a highlight of each meeting when we find out which of the district winners is chosen as the best in the state for that given year. Anticipation, of course, ran high as the names were announced. Let's go ahead and show you some of the results. First off, receiving the award for the Best Promotion and Education Program in 2015, Henry County. This year's award for the Best Women's Leadership Committee went to Chattooga County Farm Bureau.
Top honors for Best Legislative Policy and Development Program went to Cherokee County. For the second year in a row, the Young Farmer Committee Award was Madison County. And then there was the W.J. McKimmey Award. This is the most prestigious honor given by the Georgia Farm Bureau to a county. Once again this year, we recognize 3 McKimmey winners by member categories. Let's start with the counties that had membership up to 1,274. This year's winner, Bacon County Farm Bureau. David Lee is their president.
The next McKimmey winner, the county with up to 2,150 members. The 2015 recipient, Washington County Farm Bureau, Sidney Law, president.
And finally, from the counties with total members of 2,150 and above, this year's winner, Henry County Farm Bureau. Ross McQueen is their president. And we congratulate all of the winners in 2015. Look forward to seeing them in 2016.
And unfortunately, that is going to do it for our special edition from Jekyll Island and the Georgia Farm Monitor. Next week, we are back in our Macon studios for our annual Reporter Favorite Show. Hope you make plans to join us then.
And here's a reminder for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm. Check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and here on the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Have a great week, everybody.